on paper we have certain states who have agreed to follow the FDI rule. On the other side, and that too, let's see. I mean, even it's very easy to make out. All the Congress ruled states, they are in favor of it. All the BJP, the opposition ruled states, are not in favor of it. Yes,
India part of it, like Khalid is in favor of FDIs.
It's a joke that the Walmart will save our farmers. Then the question arises, who put the farmers at risk? It was their government and their policies. So the farmers will be caught between deep sea and devil. So the Walmart is not going to save the farmers. No. What will happen? Ultimately, what will happen is that there will not be public procurement. So farmers will be at the mercy of monopolies like Walmart.
Have the chance to know about what the left parties have to say, what the BJP have to say, and what all the respected MPs have to say here. But only when there is a debate that takes place in a decent manner in the House. Now here we come back to the same point of the rule that is, that the opposition parties are demanding right now. Why is it that the rule is more important than the debate? Why is it that even your government doesn't want a discussion under rule? Why don't you just accept it? Whatever the opposition is demanding, why don't you just accept it? And, make it clear to the public, because now you are being watched via a satellite channel everywhere in this country. So why can't we just have an open debate in the parliament and sort out all the problems?
Parliament is meant for various other bills to be passed, laws to be made. If you allow every administrative decision of the government can be discussed in the parliament and put for a voting.
Short break here in Public Forum. Please stay tuned. If you want to post your comment or ask any question, you can call us on the toll-free number, which is 1800115313. And before going into the break, we certainly were talking about the arguments both for and against FDI in the multi-brand retail sector, in the retail sector particularly. But we can have different opinions on that. But it's very important for us sitting here in Lok Sabha television to discuss as to which way exactly our parliamentary democracy is heading, because we are not allowing the House to function smoothly. You also said, Mr. Chandrasekhar, that it was pretty disappointing for you as a journalist, because you were expecting some sort of action to take place, some discussion to take place today in the House. But why is this trend becoming so popular today?
That's because, I would say that now every party, even today, their attitude towards issues depends on, as of now, what would happen in 2000.
The discussion was held in the House, and this was voted upon also on an executive decision.
Present Lok Sabha seems to be...
recommend a precedent every decision of administration where we definitely...
I'm talking about a precedent when this administrative decision, executive decision was discussed and voted upon in Parliament.
In any case, Parliament is supreme. Executive or anything, Parliament is supreme.
Parliament is supreme.
Dr. Solanki. Okay, Dr. Solanki.
My colleague says the Parliament is forum for the discussion. I fully agree, it's a forum for the discussion. But merely discussion with
there is no reason to think that to fear that the government will not place these amendments in Parliament.
Let me clarify one thing. Our present Honorable Mahamahim Rashtrapati ji, when he was the leader of the House, and he was the finance minister, he has assured before 1 year in the last
7th December 2011.
I want to really talk about 15 Lok Sabha. We have a caller right now from Mumbai. Mr. Sameer, please put your question.
मैडम, मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि पार्लियामेंट में कोई भी ऐसा लॉ है कि इस कंडीशंस के, ऐसा कोई गाइडलाइन है कि इस कंडीशन के तहत हमको हाउस को एडजर्न करना है? अगर ऐसी कोई गाइडलाइन नहीं है तो फिर बार बार हाउस को एडजर्न क्यों किया जाता है? क्यों पब्लिक का पैसा इतना टाइम वेस्ट किया जाता है? जो भी, अगर हाउस एडजर्न मत कीजिए, डिस्कशन को चालू रखने दीजिए ना.
Okay, it is about ₹25 lakh for every hour that's what it costs, and an exchequer when the House gets disrupted. So there are a lot of figures, but let's not really go into it. It really says a lot. And Mr. Yaski, I'll come to you here. It is certainly the joint responsibility of the ruling as well as the opposition to make sure that the House functions smoothly. How would you like to defend your government when the opposition claims, and it says that even today, whatever happened in the House was sponsored by your government? How would you like to defend it?
This is absolutely political to take an advantage of such statement. The government never indulged in such tactics, using indirectly asking some partners to help us to bail it out. When we are over,
Mr. Chandrasekhar, I'll come back to one more thing. The rule again. The rules are more important for us. We don't want to have the debate. Let's say if the government is now saying that even if they go for a vote, they'll have the numbers. Okay? Maybe we know it. Maybe even the government knows it. If the government is now saying that we are ready to have a debate under a certain rule, why is it that all the parties do not agree to have a debate? Why is it? I mean, do you see that it's only
debate under 193 on a normal situation is all right. But the point is important issues like FDI.
Bracket. Your party doesn't fall into that bracket. You have to, if we want a debate, well, certainly that is the need of the hour. But looking at the circumstances here, Mr. Rajesh, don't you think that a debate is more important now, more important than any other, than the rule here? And don't you think that at the same time we need to respect the question hour, the other businesses of the day? One particular business cannot take precedence over other things. Don't you see that's very, very important?
Shalini, Parliament is not a chat room. Discussion and debate means a meaningful discussion, meaningful.
Here from Himachal.
Yes.
Right now, Balraj. Yes. Please put your question. Yes. I'm here from Himachal. Yes, my question is that what is the relevance of the FDI in socialistic objective of the democracy?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Well, certainly one would have their own. That's a very important thing, Mr. Yaski. He is generally asking about the FDI and its importance to the nation. Well, we'll certainly take on that question. Time for a very short break here in Public Forum. Please stay tuned for more. Welcome back to Public Forum. In Public Forum today, we are talking about the uproar in the Lok Sabha. So the number of sittings of Lok Sabha has come down from a yearly average of 124 in the first decade of 1952 to 61 to about 81 between 1992 and 2001, a decline of about 35%. And moreover, it is also said that the present Lok Sabha seems to be the most disrupted one in the last 25 years. That's a research by the PRS Legislative Research which says that. And as I was talking about the loss of hours and the loss of, what would it really mean for an exchequer? Well, 1 minute loss, 1 minute, each minute of parliament actually costs about 26,035 rupees to an exchequer. But there have been a lot of talks about how exactly can we improve the functioning of the parliament. Mr. Chandrasekhar, would like to come to you here first. One of them has been that increase the number of sittings in the House. And that could be mandatory 100 sittings of the parliament, though it seemed to be very impractical.
You're saying the number has come down in parliament. Now, you were comparing to the have an increasing role in legislation these days. So the number has come down. But the point is, you are saying the point is that the number is not important. My emphasis will be the attitude of the ruling party towards the demands of the opposition. If they are legitimate, some proper redressal of the grievances of opposition will go a long way. Not the statistic in the numbers and other things, If there is a scandal, it needs to be investigated thoroughly, whether the BJP is in power or Congress is in power. So that type of
important thing, one crucial thing that suffers all the while, Mr. Rajesh, is of course number of bills and other, as I said, even the question hour is very, very important. There have been suggestions whether we should shift the question hour to the later part of the day. That is also not possible. But, a lot of, lot of work, lot of paperwork, lot of time and money is spent on preparing answers to those questions that they are not even raised on these days. How do you really look at the approach that we should follow now, at least to ensure that, such concerns, the concerns that our callers have also raised, should be, you can address those concerns?
It's a cause of concern, serious matter of concern that the Parliament is increasingly disrupted by various issues. So
no pay. Why can't we have that in place? Can we really have this?
We cannot implement these things in a mechanical manner. There is no mechanical solutions to this issue. So what is needed is that the government.
It's very alarming, sir. But Mr. Yaski, please respond to these things. Parliament cleared about 118 bills in 1975. This was perhaps the highest number of bills passed by both houses in a single year. The least productive session has been in the year 2004, where Parliament passed only 18 bills. 118 and 18. And since 2009, there is a report which says that 1 in every 5 bills have been passed with discussion of less than 5 minutes. Well, this speaks a lot about what we are really doing in the House and what do we need to do in order to reform and bring some sort of change in the state of affairs.
There's two things here. One, obviously, without the opposition cooperation, how the government can run the parliament. So government is making every effort, sincere efforts to reach out the parliament, opposition parties, and have this.
Understanding the fact, Dr. Solanki,
minister, the principal opposition disrupted entire budget
Dr.
session.
Dr. Solanki, what I want to understand is that even if, let's say, you understand that these issues are very volatile, don't you see that you have a larger responsibility, being a mature opposition,
I agree with you,
to ensure that there is a decent debate in the House that takes place, and government is also, you can take the government on.
I agree with you, but I will give you one concrete example. See, my esteemed colleague has narrated. The winter session was totally washed on the issue of JPC. The entire opposition, all opposition collectively, they were demanding for the JPC, constitution of the JPC. Government has not accepted it.
Got last 1 minute in the show. Let us quickly know what is exactly going to be your strategy on the FDI issue. People don't want to see another disrupted session, sir, this time at least in the winter session. What is the call that your party is going to take?
See, government should abide by its wording, which was given on the floor of the House. Okay, we will discuss
Parliament, and we are for the discussion on FDI, which entails under rule which entails voting.
Okay, Mr. Yaski.
The same BJP stand when computer revolution brought in by late Rajiv Ji, visionary Prime Minister. They said computer boys ridiculed the whole computerization of the education to what computers brought in. Now today you have seen millions of jobs created. So here again the pretext of losing jobs, which is their own manipulation of